got a weather warning. It's been raining all morning. I think it's supposed to get worse today. They're talking about like tornadoes or whatever. So, welcome. My name is Matt. I am currently in a very expensive car that I definitely did not expect to be in. But today I'm just going to talk to you guys about how the process was buying it, what it was like, things like that. Show you all the features that it has. I'm still trying to figure out all of them as we speak, you know. But yeah, this is how I, at 22 years old, bought a Dodge Challenger Scatpack. So I'm not going to talk here because I'm pretty sure I'm not even supposed to be parking here. I'm kind of breaking the law. So I'm actually going to go to a place that's nice by the water. It's about 20 minutes away. So I'm going to drive there, and I'm going to pick it back up when I get there. The sky is like about to take a piss on us. Like thunder and shit. I think it's going to be rough here in a couple minutes, but we're almost there. It started to rain, so I'm going to show you real quick. This is a 2021 Dodge Challenger Scatpack. I just bought this maybe like a month and a half ago. When I bought it, it only had like 11,000 miles on it. Driven it quite a bit, so now it's up from there. But tried to get a nice little view of the water, but as you can see, that's not going too well. So I'm gonna get back inside because I'm getting wet. So when I bought this car, it completely changed my mindset on everything. Buying this car was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. It helped me grow as a person. Obviously, it was a learning experience. It was my first big purchase, my own insurance, everything that I need to do. So I was learning a lot in the process of buying this car. I also feel like I proved a lot of people wrong. A lot of people tend to, in my life, kind of be two-faced. You know, they just don't think I'm very capable of a lot. And to buy a car like this, you know, it's just great. It's a great feeling, you know. It's something that I personally did, something that I achieved. It made me realize, you know, to not listen to what anybody else does or wants you to do. If you want to do something, whether you want to buy a Lamborghini or you want to move somewhere, you want to go on vacation, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Like, if you want to work on music for your life, like I'm doing currently, I have a music channel that's up right now. I'll put a link down in the description. After buying this car, that kind of showed me that I should respect myself more. I should have confidence in myself and be willing to do these things and not really listen to anybody else, because they've been holding me back for years. All you need is the support of your family and your good friends, and that's it. Nobody else. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to what they have to say. If you want to go buy this car and people are telling you, oh, that's too much power for you, or you can't handle it, or it's expensive, if you want to do it, fucking do it. Who cares? Honestly, who gives a shit? I used to make videos in the past. I had a channel when I was like 11 years old. I made a bunch of different videos. I used to play with Nerf guns. I uploaded everything. I guess I stopped making videos a while ago because of what I just mentioned with these people kind of like talking shit about you and everything. So it kind of gets in your head a little bit. So that's kind of why I stopped. But now that I'm starting this channel back up, you know, I have all this free time. I decided that I want to start this video channel back up. So what are we doing here exactly? Not necessarily car videos, but we are going to be doing a lot of other things too. I have a trip planned coming up soon. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going until I actually go to the trip. I got a couple vlogs planned and everything like that. My friends and I are stupid. We like to do dumb shit. We like to have fun, obviously. So I'm going to make a bunch of videos on those. I'm going to start this up for you so you can see the drive modes, but listen to this engine. I love that about the car too. So if we go here, it's got all these driving modes. SRT mode is an option right here on the Uconnect. So it's in auto right now, and you can see the transmission, the paddle shifters, traction, steering. If I change this, like I have a custom setting one here, but if I change it to track, you see it changes everything and it shows you what it's doing. So it's putting the transmission in track, it's putting the paddle shifters on, traction, track, steering, track, right? Sport does the same thing. And then you can set your custom one, which is like a mixture of all the other ones. So what I did is I made it track, paddle shifters on, traction, street, and the sport steering. You can mess around with this, whatever you want to do. You could also put it in valet mode so they don't take your car and tear up asphalt. Auto is what I'm going to keep it on right now. It has an eco mode, so when you turn that on, you'll see a little green thing pop up on your screen there. Basically what that does is it makes your pedals less reactive, so you actually don't put so much force down and it burns up more gas. It kind of leans it back a little bit so you're not cooking through gas all day. But you know, we got a bunch of other things here. Like if you look at the controls, mirror dimmer, heated seats, vented seats. I got a heated steering wheel. Mirror dimmer, what that does at night is it dims the mirror so the glare from behind you is not blinding you, because that's an issue sometimes. So one thing about this car too is gas mileage. It's not going to be as good as a V6. So if you do have a V6 and you're going to be going up to a Scatpack, the bigger engine, it burns a lot more gas a lot more quickly, I've noticed. So for this car, I might be getting about 13 miles a gallon, which is not too great. But also keep in mind, this car does not take regular gas. It has to be 93 octane and it can't be anything else. So now that all that's out of the way, I just want to talk about some things this car has that I really like. First thing I wanted to address a little more was going from a V6 to a Scatpack. There's like a rumor going around, well, not a rumor, people are saying that, oh, it's a big jump in power, you might not be able to handle it. You drive a V6 Challenger or a Charger for a little while and you want to get a Scatpack, it's really not that different. You're going to get used to it pretty quickly. The pedal is a little more responsive. It's got a lot more power behind it, so you don't have to push the pedal down as much for the thing to fucking move. And trust me, it moves fast. But you get used to it within like a day or two of driving it. But just know, a Scatpack ain't no V6. You're going from a V6 to a 6.4 liter V8. I mean, it's a lot more power. You put the pedal down, it jerks, the whole car jerks back. Like for me, it's like I'm in a SpaceX rocket, because I'm a very heavy man, so I just go like this when I hit the gas. And you can even feel the back tires kind of like gripping different than a V6 would. Because I guess there's so much downforce and the tires are different. It's a great feeling when you give it gas and you hear the engine. It's fantastic. It puts a smile on my face every time I do it. But the V6 was kind of quick too. Don't get me wrong, that thing is pretty fast for what it is. Challengers are much heavier than Chargers, and that thing moved even if it was a heavier car and it was a V6. That thing really moved. As much as I miss my old car, I really love this one, you know? Like, I had to have that car to have this one, you know? And it's a great feeling to be able to have one. It's a lot of fun, you know? People were looking at me when I was driving up the street in my V6, and now, like, they hear me coming. Everybody's looking at me on the side of the road. It's insane. And then one thing I noticed between, like, Scatpack Hellcat owners, like, everything like that, there's, like, the Dodge wave. All the Dodge people wave at each other. No matter what they're driving, they could be driving a V6 Charger, V6 Challenger, Scatpack Charger, anything like that. There's always, like, the Dodge wave, I call it, where they go like this. I had some guy at a stoplight, like, go like that. It's great. I just love it. People are so funny about it. It's like being in a community, which is the cool part about it. I mean, it's like that Mopar, I guess, you know, Jeep, Chrysler, you're all made by the same company. So, you know, it's like everybody kind of likes the car as much as you do, and it's like they kind of respect each other for it. It's pretty cool. So when I bought the car, I put down $7,000. The trade-in with the equity gave me $2,000 in equity, so that went towards it as well. Now, buying a 2021, I knew the price was going to be more expensive than what I was paying for my V6. For my V6, I was paying $426.13 or something like that. This came out to about $786. So obviously, I knew it was going to be a lot more expensive to buy a Scatpack and pay for it monthly than a V6. For the V6, I paid like $426 a month, and this came out to about $786. But I was okay with that. So after I signed the paperwork and everything, the next question was the insurance company. I worked with the dealer, the guy that sold me the car, and some other guy. We were trying to find a good rate just to, you know, to start out and maybe like change as we go down the road. But you know how insurance companies are. When you're under the age of 25, they try to screw you no matter what. They charge you insane amount of money for like basic coverage just because they don't trust you. So just to get it off the lot, because we've been searching for like 2 hours, and I've had the car for 2 hours, I just settled for Geico just to get it off the lot. Geico was charging me $880.76 a month, which is insane. Nobody should be paying that. I am pissed off about Geico too, because they say shit like, oh, you're gonna save 15% or more. That is bullshit. I paid at least 15% or more. So like, I have a hatred for Geico. As soon as I did that, I knew right off the bat, like, I had to find a new insurance company. No way in hell I was paying $880 a month for this car, plus $786, because then we're looking at $1,600 a month. Insane. Absolutely not. There was no way. So immediately, obviously, I started looking for better rates. I ended up with State Farm. I called them and I told them, you know, how much I was paying, and they're like, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. That's like borderline scamming you. So, I was able to get a bunch of discounts. You know, I got a couple things for my car. I drive safe. I got a couple classes they gave me, and a defensive driving course, which I did have. That lowered my rate a ton. So it went from $880 a month to about $450 a month, which was cutting that shit in half. So that was just much better than what I was paying to begin with. So that's who I have right now. Oh, look, the sun came out. There used to be like a town on the other side of the water, and I absolutely cannot see it anymore. It rains so fucking hard here, it's unbelievable. The ground is like ponds at the moment, and it's a little wild. And you can still hear the thunder going. It's supposed to be like this all day, all week. So anyway, after trying out the Camaro, I did like the car, but it was a little tight for me, but I was willing to make an exception. I think I was just being a little soft. I was trying to buy my first car. I just wanted to be like the guy that drove around in a nice car. Obviously, Camaros are nice cars. But due to me not having much of a credit score, credit history, I obviously couldn't do it. I needed a co-signer, and nobody was able to sign for me at the time. So I got a little bummed out. Very bummed out, actually. So my mom was like, well, why don't you look for other cars? You know, maybe this is like a blessing in disguise. Maybe you could find a better car. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm open to that. The thing is, one of the cars that I was looking at was a Dodge Charger. My friend had a Dodge Charger. He got one. His parents bought him one. It's like a 2012 Dodge Charger. Very nice. My brother, maybe like a year before me, he bought a 2016 Dodge Charger. So everybody had nice Dodge Chargers. They were all getting the same color, and they were nice cars. But my issue was I didn't want to have the same car that everybody else did. So I started looking around for maybe different types of cars, maybe Mustangs, I don't know, maybe Porsches, anything like that. But you know how that works. When you're young, you don't have a whole lot of money. Like, you can't get a fucking Porsche at fucking 12 years old, you know what I'm saying? So I remembered that there was a car that was just like the Charger and was different, the Challenger. I was looking around for those, and I decided to see what they had, you know, and go from there. Sure enough, one of the dealers right down the street from the Chevy dealer that I was at had a bunch of Challengers, and like the more I looked at the pictures, you know, the more I was like, oh, okay, I'll go check them out, you know, whatever. I wasn't always big on Challengers. I don't know why. It just seemed like a little like weird to me. I wasn't sure how to feel about the bumper and everything like that, or the front grille. I mean, I don't know. But the more I looked at the car, the more I kind of grew on it, and then it completely changed when I saw the car in person. This car was absolutely gorgeous with the color it was, the daytime running lights, the whole 9 yards. The way the thing was in the sun and, like, you know, the bright sunny weather, it looked gorgeous. The seats were red leather interior, you know, it had Uconnect, it had my heated seats, it had my sunroof. So I drove the car once with my mother, and she immediately knew that I was in love with this car, and so was I. I love the car. I had so much room to work with. I have room now in this one, but I had the windows open. I had the vented seats on. They're not just heated seats, they're vented seats. AC through the seat, which was crazy for me. Car started at $26,000, so I was like, you know what? I cannot pass up on this. I want it. So actually, about 4 years ago today, I bought a V6 Dodge Challenger. My very first purchase. I did need a co-signer, but I was extremely happy with this buy. I drove this thing around all over the place. I just love driving this car. It looks so good. It had graphite crystal paint and everything like that with the red interior. It was just so unique that I love the car. Greatest thing about this car is that it's automatic. So I just wanted an automatic car. I wanted an automatic Scatpack. I didn't want to have to worry about learning how to drive it in manual and completely fry the clutch on the first day. So, I backpedaled a little bit. I was looking to see a newer model, something that was maybe like the newest one you can get. I was open to leasing it. I was, open to doing all of that. So one day, it was a Saturday, maybe about an hour before they closed. I drove there and I stopped inside and I talked to them and I was like, I'm looking for a Scatpack Challenger. And, I told him the car I had. The guy was there and he was like, well, we got a 2023 Challenger Scatpack automatic in Sarge Green. I was like, no, I don't want a car in Sarge Green. That looks stupid. And these are all the brand new cars. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't think anything is here until I looked out into the window and parked outside was a all black Challenger Scatpack. And I said, well, what about that car? He's like, you can't lease that car because it is a certified pre-owned. And I was like, okay, so it is for sale? They're like, oh yeah, it's for sale. It's just pre-owned. I was like, okay, I'm interested. Let me go see it. So, I obviously knew Scatpacks had a louder engine and everything than a V6. So when I went out there and he started it and showed me everything, the manager was out there with me and everything. It was pretty cool. I really liked the car. I knew what a Challenger was like. I loved the Challenger and the V6 form, and this was just going to be even better than that. So, I liked it. We ran numbers, and we found a reasonable price, or reasonable for me anyways, that I was willing to pay for the car. I wasn't just buying the Scatpack to buy it either. I saw it more as a investment, because I recently read a couple months prior to looking that Dodge was done making Hellcat and Scatpack models after 2023, and that they were going to go to a electric EV Dodge Banshee like Hellcat variant. They were going to start making electric cars from here on out. So I was like, shit, well, that cuts my time in half, because now I really don't have any time to save up for an even better car, because once they're done, they're done. And I knew once the car, went out of production, that the price of these things were going to skyrocket. They were already high, don't get me wrong, but they were going to get even higher. And the way I see it is, in a couple years, if I take good care of this car, I could sell it for a profit, like a lot more money than I paid for. So that came into mind too when I bought the car, and I was like, you know what? Screw it, I'll do it. Why not? I'm interested. So I traded in my car, my Challenger V6, for this one, and I got $2,000 equity. Wasn't a whole lot of money. I probably could have gotten more from a third-party dealer or whatever. But bottom line is, I was going to get the car off my back. I wouldn't have to worry about it, So the buying process was actually pretty smooth. And, I talked to them about the previous dealer and, things that happened with him that were, over excessive, and things that I had to deal with, the drama buying that car. And, I was telling them everything. The only thing that kind of threw me off about buying this car was the test driving. They are not allowed to let people test drive Scatpacks or higher. And I'm not sure why exactly, but the way he explained it to me is that they have a rule where Scatpacks or higher are not allowed to be test driven by people from outside. I thought that was a little weird, but then when he explained it to me, it kind of made more sense. Basically, it's a way of keeping a younger 16-year-old from coming on the lot and then tearing up asphalt with it and then wrecking it and then walking away without a liability. It was one of those things. So I was like, okay, I would like to test drive the car, but I that was another thing. The car only had 10,000 miles at the time, and I was like, well, this thing was barely driven. I'm looking at it. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it. I looked underneath it, all of that, and the car sounded good. It looked brand new, untouched. That made my decision, better. So I bit the bullet and I said, all right, what? Let's do it, because whoever had the car before me took really good care of it, so I wasn't worried about that. I had my sunroof vented open and it was just pouring through the fucking gap. Oh my God. Holy shit. Alright. I gotta close this so we don't get fucking soaked. I waited too long to press record. Fuck. So, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be making another video soon. I will let you know when it's coming out. Follow my Instagram. Links and everything will be in the description, and we'll go from there. But thank you guys for watching, and I will hopefully see you around in the next one. Thank you.